months ago. Of course, a lot's changed with 7.0, and I know that's a pretty obvious statement right there, but again, excited to see how this works. But we got the draft underway, so let's start talking about that now. Slaughter and Lifestealer coming out for IG. We got Luna and Sand King for IG Vitality. What is your take,
Yeah.
Manny?
The most surprising thing, actually, is the bans from IG Vitality. They banned out Ogre and Tinker. I agree with the Ogre ban, but the Tinker ban is a little bit surprising to me, simply because Slardo is left on the field. And then not only that, they give IG, or Invictus Gaming, Slardo plus the Lifestealer combo, both incredibly strong heroes, and then together as well, the combination is even stronger. They pick up Luna in itself, and I thought they was actually going to pick up Luna SD straight away, seeing as IG didn't ban SD, and obviously IG Vitality had the 1-2 punch. They go with Luna Sand King, but I think the opening from Invictus Gaming with Slardo Lifestealer is a lot stronger going forward, but we'll see in the next couple of picks.
Yeah, you know, I was actually looking at, I like to do a little bit of research at least, do my best to kind of prepare for matches like this, and good old Dota buff I feel like is a good source to go to help a little bit there, and looking at this event actually specifically, Burning, of course, the carry for Invictus Gaming, he's played two heroes basically this whole event. It's been Luna, which obviously is see on IG Vitality, and it's been Lifestealer. So those are the two, and sure enough, they get Lifestealer. And as you mentioned, the great transport that is Slaughter to go along with it. So they're very comfortable, to say the least.
Definitely. I'm definitely interested to sort of see where this starter's going to go. Whether he's going to be played as a position 4 or position 3, it all depends really, particularly on whether they can kind of pair something up with the starter. I mean, Darkseer is actually left on the board. IG Vitality did not ban it out, so I think that's definitely a strong combo. Something that VP used to run it all the time is the starter Darkseer lane, and it can cause a lot of problems, which kind of enables the starter to kind of do something. Because normally when you play position 4 starter as a support, you struggle to kind of close the gap, whereas obviously with the Surge can really help you with that, plus the Iron Shield can really make you kind of a big threat. Otherwise you're sometimes forced to sort of just pick up an Iron Talon and go jungle. But with Darkseer still on the board, I'd like to sort of think that Invictus Gaming are going to go for that, particularly because they actually ban up the Weaver as well. Weaver, a very strong hero to sort of dodge Darkseer sort of lanes, but we'll sort of see. I mean, Luna's picked up already, so I guess Weaver in the safe lane wouldn't really be a possibility, seeing as Luna's going to be played there, but we'll see going forward.
Yeah, they have played Darkseer once, just to check on that here of this tournament at least, so perhaps going to run with that again as you're getting at. But for now, we're going to see the third pick of IG Vitality so far to go along with the Sand King and Luna, and they keep it pretty, simple, I think you could say. Juggernaut coming out, nothing too out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, and decent pick. A good against Lifestealer. Lifestealer really struggles against kind of high physical burst, Juggernaut being one of them, and Ursa being another, and TA being probably the third best option against him. So Juggernaut's a fine pick up here. A very good mid as well. Doesn't really lose a lot of mid matchups, honestly. So kind of a safe third pick, knowing that they don't know what Invictus Game are going to throw as their mid pick.
Yeah, and we'll see if that maybe comes out here, if they're going to wait on that. Obviously, neither team even choosing a support just yet. Very worth pointing out. And sure enough, there we go. Visage coming out for IG now. Visage is kind of an interesting road here lately. Obviously, in 7.0, he got buffed up quite a bit, and people were using him constantly. Then he got nerfed after that, as there's a Darkseer actually on IG Vitality side. But anyways, point is, Visage seen here for IG as their support.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was very, very strong coming out of just the 7.00 patch. And then he got nerfed kind of heavily, I think, as needed as well, in the 7.01 patch. There's been a lot of teams really running Visage. And when they do run Visage, normally it's in a draw strategy. So it's very interesting to see IG pick it up here. I mean, he's quite decent against the Sand King. Obviously, can sort of knock him out of the Sandstorm. So you have an AoE stun. But I think the more interesting pick here is the Darkseer coming out from IG Vitality. I mentioned how I think IG... the original team wanted the Darkseer so they could pair it with the Slardar, but now that's been taken away. This kind of puts Slardar in a little bit of a harder position. And I think with Darkseer being taken, I think they're going to run Slardar as a position 3 now. So they have Visage as one of their supports, and probably going to pick up another support here, and then perhaps hide their mid. But yeah, I'm surprised actually IG they picked Visage third when I think Darkseer would have maybe been the superior choice, seeing as now they're struggling to sort of find what they want for their fourth pick going forward.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. I mean, perhaps afraid that maybe Visage was going to be taken by IG Vitality. I mean, pointing out that IG Vitality perhaps needs at least one, if not even 2 supports at that time. So, just highly value it that much, perhaps. Could be their logic there.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to see sort of Sanking in the sort of position 4 role here for IG Vitality, which I think, again, similar to kind of how Slardar plays in a position 4. He needs a hero that can really enable him. And again, Darkseid can kind of do that. Obviously, with the Iron Shell being onto a melee support, it just offers so much more. But they're going to pick up the Quap here. So they're going to hide their last support. Oh, actually, they're offline here for Invictus Gaming. So it's a bit of a kind of a mystery whether this Slardar's going to be played in position 3 or position 4. But Quap being picked up here. Strong mid. Good against Juggernaut to an extent, but Juggernaut still fares very well because obviously you can spin out of the dagger and also just push the lane and make sure that Queen of Pain cannot really dominate the lane. So I think IG are okay with the Queen of Pain being matched up against Juggernaut, but I think they would definitely would have preferred something a little bit stronger.
Now, I know this is a big stretch here, but I do recall a phase in Dota where there were maybe some teams running a support Quap. Is that a potential, or is that just not
this game? I don't think this game, because they already have. I mean, I guess Visage could be played as mid, so I don't know. There's definitely potential, but I don't think so. The reason being is because they IG are lacking lockdown now. The one reason why they picked up Queen of Pain obviously is it gives Lifestealer a taxi. That's the main reason why they picked him. Like, because I guess Slardar obviously is a great sort of taxi, but before Blink they need something like a Quap that has a natural Blink in his spells. But him being played as support, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think because they lack lockdown in the early sort of levels if he is being played as support. But it's definitely not out of the case because you could put Visage mid and then Slardar as the position 3, and then they could pick up one more support. But if that does happen, it'd be very crazy to say the least.
Yeah, like I said, it was a stretch right there, but they banned Vengeful Spirit as their support option to ban here, as Earth Spirit taken away by IG Vitality. A little bit disappointed in that because, again, Dogfights plays a mean Earth Spirit, but I'm sure IG could have possibly played one themselves over here.
Yeah, IG need a position 5 right now. The Sanking's going to be position 4, so Sanking plus Earth Spirit just wouldn't work. So they need like a solid sort of support like Venge, but obviously IG banned that out. But here going for IG, it's going to depend whether this Slardar is going to be played as a position 3 or position 4. I'm just saying, in terms of offliners, that still be quite decent. I mean, you've got Axe still on the board, Beastmaster, Batrider still potential as well. And seeing as Juggernaut has been played mid, actually, Luna does struggle against the Batrider because obviously doesn't have a way to sort of remove the sticky stacks. So that could be a potential, but I think they need something with a bit more AoE. Oh, so they put Witch Doctor then. So this Slardar is going to be played as a position 3 then.
Yeah.
Instead.
They stick with that in the end, and yeah, they go with the Witch Doctor. And I kind of wonder if that has a little bit to do as well. They want to get that Blink Dagger online ASAP, as that transport for the Lifestealer. Although I guess Quap actually kind of adds another transport option for Lifestealer, to be fair, as well. Winter Wyvern in the final pick.
Nice.
Meanwhile,
really nice pick actually from the Wyvern. They needed kind of a way to deal with the Slardar Lifestealer combo. So for example, when Slardar comes in, jumps in, and Lifestealer comes out, they need a way to save that hero that's getting initiated on. And Wyvern is that. Obviously, he can Cold Embrace, or he could even use his ulti as well and kind of slow the kind of burst potential that IG now have. But I think just from the laning stage as well as the draft overall, I definitely favour IG Vitality going forward. But we'll have to go see going forward.
Here we go, game number 1 of this series. Again, we went into the last series expecting a great series overall and possibly 3 games and an epic battle, and man, it was dominated by VGJ. I don't know if you got the chance to watch that yourself earlier.
I saw a little bit, yeah.
But it was also a lot of fun to watch. It was great Dota. Now, we'll see what this series follows up with compared to that one. Hoping for some good Dota at the very least, and some lengthy Dota perhaps, but here we go, IG versus IG Vitality, and only one of these teams going to be making it into the LAN as we load in here for our first game of this best-of-3 series.
Prepare for battle.
TP's coming out from both Visage and Sanking actually right now. And I think Sanking's going to get the ward down without Visage spotting him actually. He should get it. Yeah, he should be fine. That's a really big advantage. One thing I haven't really mentioned before, but because of the shrines now being able to be used as TP slots or TP sort of zones, particularly a lot of the offliners have the advantage because they can kind of access the jungler and the pool camps without being spotted, as you just saw there. Before, obviously, when there wasn't any shrines, both supports and offlaners would sort of TP to either the safe lane tower or the off lane tower, and then normally be spotted. But with the kind of different pathing that we saw there, actually, it was able to be undetected. Obviously, there's 2 sentries on Visage, so probably will most likely be counted, but will definitely be less information given because of it.
Yeah. Grouping up over here. Still a 1 ward to be placed by Boboka here playing the Witch Doctor, so we'll see where that ends up being over here. But in July and Darkseer, of course, setting up to be in that off lane up top. It looks like Juggernaut set to pick up that Bounty Rune. So it's been interesting kind of seeing the differences in terms of Bounty Rune contention from game to game and series to series. And it looks like this time around, neither team is going to be putting up much of a fight. We'll go ahead and just each get 2 and then move on with their lives. So.
Yeah, it's interesting actually. I mentioned obviously about what Sanking did by TPing down, but this actually could play into effect. This is actually gave one of his sentries over to Slardar, so now he only has 1 sentry. If he misses this sentry, then this pool camp is going to be blocked for at least a minute or 2 before they can buy another set of sentries. So that TP from Sanking actually was very, very clutch.
Yeah.
Some interesting things to note as well. Darks has already picked up his Iron Talon, which is definitely needed. He's going to be facing against a defensive tri-lane, so he's going to try and perhaps get level 2, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it, seeing as both Witch Doctor and Visage are going to be boxing him out of experience range as we see right now.
That's
so
a deadly combo too.
Yeah, he's just going to be forced to go into the jungle, whereas Slardar's going to be under attack as well bot lane.
He's in trouble. Speaking of a dangerous combo coming out, Winter Wyvern assisting with the Sand King right here, throws out the crush and the TP. That will be enough to escape. So surviving is the name of the game. Sure, he's out of range of experience now and everything, but as long as he doesn't die, he's doing his job there. Safe to say. What's going on over here? The Shrine on the Radiant side in July, having fun with Boboka. Boboka more so trying to harass Darkseer, not let him have some jungle farm.
Yeah, he's just going to try and stop him from farming, but it's hard to do that really because of 2 things. One, obviously Darkseer can just man up with Iron Shell, but there's a Shrine right next to him as well, so Witch Doctor can't really take that fight. But yeah, Darkseer, the problem with Darkseer right now is that he needs to get level 2 to come into the lane, but obviously to come into the lane he needs to get experience, because if he doesn't have Surge he's going to die, whereas if he has Surge he probably can live against all 3 of those heroes. So he wants to get level 2, which he's going to try and find here in the jungle, and then he can kind of rotate into the lane and go from there.
So you're talking about the middle matchup a little bit right here. The spin potential Sakata could be helpful, but overall, I mean, how do you see this one playing out? Right now, it's a slight advantage for Quap. Do you still think she's going to keep that way?
Yeah, this is kind of to be expected. Quap will win the the first early levels because I mean Juggernaut doesn't want to be spinning in the early levels because he wastes too much mana. But when it comes into the next say 2 or 3 minutes or so, Juggernaut will start sort of becoming a bit more equal. Obviously, if Quap goes too far up on the high ground, then Jug can just spin and force the TP out. But for the most part, yeah, this is to be expected. Quap will win in the the first few levels, but then Jug's going to come back by just spinning the wave, and Quap can't do anything about it. So.
Witch Doctor going to protect that Arcane Rune, allow Quap to come on over and pick it up. Of course, doesn't have a bottle yet or anything like that, but we'll just simply use it, and that could be pretty helpful for spamming set abilities, specifically that Shadow Strike here. Keep the harassment up on that Juggernaut. Meanwhile, dogfights on the Sand King. Going to be hit by a cask, but no bounces, so he'll be fine. Just going to be a little bit of harassment there. Does have those tangos, though, to heal right on up. So far, I mean, quite a slow-paced game here. We saw a little bit of the action on Slaughter, of course, but other than that, not a whole lot taking place. Both teams running that defensive tri-lane, so is this pretty much what you expect with the beginning of this game, a pretty passive game here?
Yeah, pretty much, because it all goes back to there's not really the greatest kind of aggressive dual lane coming out from IGV. Like, if they had, say, Slardar plus Darkseer, maybe, but with a Sand King, he's not able to do much against the 2 defensive supports with both the Witch Doctor and Visage. But Darkseer's going to be getting levels now, like level 3 now, and this is when Lifesteal is going to struggle to deal with the Iron Shell. So I could easily see perhaps Dogfights rotating up to try and even put even more pressure on Burning's lane in the top lane.
Yeah, for now he's still hanging around that bottom. I mean, again, Slaughter, though, is playing very passive. In fact, Witch Doctor being down here, but is not going to really expose himself either. Not give him that chance. And we'll see if those rotations start happening, as we do see on the side of Invictus Gaming at least, but Vitality is the one yet to move. But Dogfight, sure enough, is heading on over. Of course, I think towards that Shrine, but full life, full mana, so not going to be using that by any means.
But this is kind of the interesting thing when you kind of compare the 2 offliners from both teams. This is why we normally see Slardar in a position 4 role than a straight up offlane role, and the reason being is that he doesn't have kind of lane pressure like say someone like a Darkseer has or an Underlord. He's forced to go into the jungle, and he's obviously very slow at jungling, which doesn't make him very strong. But also when he comes back into the lane, he can't really pressure. Whereas someone like a Darkseer, he's going to be pressuring the lifesteal. If you compare the CS between the lifesteal and Luna, it's not a lot, but still Luna is ahead because of Darkseer's kind of pressure he's putting onto the lifestealer. Darkseer's level 4, whereas you compare Slardar, just turned level 3 already. So those kind of offlaners are definitely kind of night and day in that respect.
Roaming around from Witch Doctor. He's going to spot things out in the Radiant jungle, then fall back, got a ward down. Of course, You see another one actually placed right there on also the side of the Radiant. Meanwhile, Shrine use Baboka's full on mana life, so not really taking advantage of it, but Slaughter needed it, so gladly use again. Not a whole lot of action in general, so understandable that not many heroes needed to use them this early on in the game. Luna, by the way, Luna is going to be going a Helm of the Dominator. We saw this last game as well, and it seems like even though with no lifesteal, the change to the item, it's still seeming like a pretty core item on the hero, though. What do you think about Helm of the Dominator on Luna, Minnie?
Sorry, my mic was muted.
That's what I thought.
No, yeah, it's great on any carry, and all carries are getting it, whether it's Luna, whether it's Juggernaut, whether it's obviously lifesteal, not so much, but all the carry heroes now that kind of benefit from attack speed are getting it. And although yes, it doesn't give lifesteal, having the ability to have and the utility of having like a neutral creep coming around and helping to start the team fights or starting to help farm, whether it be an Alpha Wolf or an Ice Ogre, is just so useful. Honestly, it's probably one of the best items actually in the game right now, and that's why a lot of carries are picking it up. Obviously, the reason why people were picking it up in sort of the previous pack was more for the sort of stacking aspect by stacking the Ancients, but because of the sort of the nerf to the neutrals in the sense that they only spawn every 2 minutes now, the stacking aspect is not as sort of prioritized, whereas something like maybe taking a Centaur or like even like an Ice Ogre, for example, is more useful in just the team fights.
Witch Doctor here just hit level 2. I mean, we're 6 minutes into this game, and he just hit level 2. Does pick up that Maledict now, but yeah, he is a little bit behind here. You got both supports, of course, on the other side, both being level 3 and pretty well developed. So do you see that kind of being an issue for this Witch Doctor, or is he kind of fine despite being under-leveled?
Definitely. Like, I mean, obviously, when it comes to sort of team fights, he's going to be able to get his levels. Plus, obviously, there's the tome as well. But I think this is the problem of having two kind of ranged sort of supports and quote-unquote lane supports. There's going to be a smoke coming down to the bot lane, though, and this is the kind of rotation they need. They need to have either the mid or the carry make a rotation to make things happen. Quelp is level 6, obviously, with ulti, but it looks like Luna knows what's up, though. He's playing really far back. They even scan, actually, and it is going to hit. Oh, I think it just faded, actually, but I think they know what's up regardless, though, because Luna is playing very, very far back. Yeah,
the way they were playing defense, I mean, with Quap missing mid, that's pretty much probably the giveaway, if anything, on what's going on right there. So Quap will insist on going back to the middle lane and continue to farm as the jig is up. So we still remain no first blood here, 7 minutes into the game now. Much different pace than our previous series.
Yeah, put simply is that Quap is hard to gank mid because obviously he has the blink. Same goes for the lifestealer, but more because obviously he has the rage. So spell him in, and obviously Slardar is playing sort of just jungling right now, so he's not even in the lane, so he's not even sort of in a potential to die. So the passive sort of style of this game is happening because of that.
Bottom lane Witch Doctor, Sand King trying to set up to maybe catch him if he goes a little bit too far, but I don't think he's going to give him that opportunity. They'll put some good damage into the tower, though. Again, that Helm of the Dominator providing some great aura. Oh, yeah, there we go. The cask bouncing around. Is it going to be enough? Splinter Blast? No, it's not. Witch Doctor will remain alive for the time being. Now Quap going for the kill out of Super. This is going to be a turn kill, most likely. Shadow Strike applied. Does not have mana for the Cold Embrace. Oh, he does have a clip. You're right. Ports are coming in. Burrow Strike coming through. Somebody's going to die right here. It's going to be first blood in favor of Paparazzi, but the ports are here now. Can they make turnarounds? Quap the one to fall. Actually, Slaughter taking the Moonbeam himself, also in trouble, and he's going to have to sprint on out of there as Visage is doing what he can with the Grave Chill and harassing. Darkseer, though. No, that's actually Juggernaut, excuse me. With the haste rune. As the tower goes down, he's going to catch him. Omni Slash ready to go. Takes the crush. Perfect timing. Got the bounty rune. I still think he's dead, though. Yeah.
Just all him, man. But no, yeah, they were well too aggressive, though. Like I mentioned that obviously Luna had Eclipse, and they dived with obviously no creeps really nearby because they were kind of in that kind of wooded area. And Quap just gets blown up completely. So I think they were just well too confident in their ability to sort of fight into a Luna that early on.
Lifestealer just doing his thing at the top lane. I mean, it's understandable that you wouldn't expect him to port down there this earlier on, but I mean, at least he's getting some farm. It looks like the ultimate was used as well by Darkseer, by the way, up here. I don't know if that was defensive or not, but
yeah, trying to kill him. Obviously, it's quite low, but this is the kind of the strength of Darkseer, though. Like the reason why Lifestealer didn't port down there, though, is because if he ports down there, then Darkseer's going to take this tower. Like put simply, like he has to be sort of in this lane to make sure that Darkseer is not having too much sort of control and pressure in this lane. And again, it just goes back to sort of Slardar being put as a position 3 instead of perhaps a position 4, and Darkseer obviously really a strong laner, and as a result, is really kind of putting his presence on this game already.
Yeah. Obviously, Slaughter is working towards that Blink Dagger next in line. 900 gold saved up, but still going to be a little bit. Finding a little bit tough to get some farm right now. Now, Q here on Visage does have the familiars up, being level 6, of course, so that should ideally start amplifying him quite a bit and get levels and whatnot, but as well as that farm. Smoke attempt, meanwhile, towards the top lane. We'll see where they end up. You see the middle, Port coming back in from Sakata here. Juggernaut.
Just used his spin though, but they don't want to go for him regardless. They're going to try and take this top tower. Although there is TPs available, though, they're going to be diving already.
Yeah, this is a really aggressive dive. Will it work out? There's a search. Cast hits, though. Maledict's put up. Cold Embrace will save him, though. And Sauter's going to fall. You do see the Iron Shell also doing plenty of damage. Q's going to go down. What a turn right there for Vitality. But as you mentioned, I mean, ports were ready. That was a very greedy dive.
Yeah, and Wyvern had absolutely perfect positioning right there, actually. That Cold Embrace is perfect on the Darkseer. Right now, IG Vitality have taken complete control of this game, and I think it honestly goes back to the Slardar and Darkseer being sort of just a lot different. Like, Darkseer really having a lot of presence in this sort of game, where Slardar really has been jungling for like the whole 10 minutes and still doesn't even have a Blink Dagger to say he can sort of claim as his own. And this whole meta, with the sort of the 7.00 patch, it's all about sort of winning lanes and having an early advantage, and Slardar as an offlane does not offer you that, whereas Darkseer does. Now there was some pressure the tier 2 tower now as well. They've got ults up on both Juggernaut, and they're going to kill these Familiars very easily.
Yeah, that was a waste of those, and I don't think he has more to use. Yeah, he's going to have to wait another 20 seconds before bringing more out if a fight does break out here, but looks like not going to be the case. Armlet is ready to go on Lifestealer, so definitely potential to fight here, but not going to get the chance. They are going to fall back, not going to risk it. It seems like, yeah, they're really starting to come online. Is this Radiant side? The top 3 net worth heroes in the game are all on their side, including that Darkseer you keep getting back to. Even ahead the Lifestealer here.
And he's going to be having a mech as well in the next sort of 200 gold, and that's where it gets even worse for IG or Invictus Gaming. Because they don't really have a way to sort of counter it. They don't have a mech of their own. They don't even have a Blink Dagger yet from Slardar, and that is the biggest thing. I think they have to get a Blink Dagger on Slardar because they need that initiation. They need to blow someone up to start the team fight, otherwise they're going to lose the team fight straight up. But he's about 400, 500 gold away from it. When he gets that, maybe, then they can start looking for ganks with both Burning as well as the Slardar.
Now, do you like the Velo Discord choice here in Quap? It looks like that's what he's building into at least. Is that going to be a good decision here, you think?
Yeah, they need damage, and that's the best way to sort of get damage. There's quite a few sort of magical spells here, even from the likes of sort of Lifestealer with his Infest. They need a way to sort of blow someone up, and any kind of burst damage they have is definitely useful and definitely needed.
Blink Dagger just purchased by Dogfights. Meanwhile, the Sand King, he just hit level 7. Obviously, Epicenter good to go, so definitely things across the board, again, continue to come together for IG Vitality. Top lane, you do see Queen of Pain will blink away and survive an attempted gank up here, as Darkseer was going in.
I think IG Vitality think that Slardar has his blink, and that's why they're kind of a little bit scared and timid to go for this 2-1 tower mid. However, if they knew that Slardar doesn't have it yet, this would be the perfect time to go. Although they are sort of grouping up now, so perhaps they're going to try and force it before Slardar has his blink. Slardar's very low and doesn't have his Blink Dagger gold either. This is a perfect time for IG Vitality to sort of try and push their advantage even further, and I don't think Invictus Gaming are going to try and defend, knowing that Slardar is very low.
Yeah, IG has so much, IG Vitality that is, has so much sustain. I mean, the Helm of the Dominator, you got the level 4 heal ward from Juggernaut. It's good luck, you know, dwindling them down. The mech on top of that, as you mentioned, from the Darkseer. So, Cold Embrace for Winter Wyvern in those cases that maybe burst coming out or just simply to heal it up. And not only do they take the tower, but it's time for Roshan apparently. And I don't know if IG can stop this.
Slardar has Blink though. They need to contest this. They have a ward as well, so they know they're in there. And are they going to be quick enough is the question. And Roche is half HP. Witch Dogs is around here. This could be a massive team fight, and they have to win it if they want to win this game.
Well, here we go. Alpha Wolf going to scout things out or attempt to. The smoke is exposed. They jump Luna. That's the prime target. Can they kill her quickly? No, they cannot is the answer. As the Cold Embrace comes up, the wall's put down. And here comes the lag, ladies and gentlemen. Queen of Pain taking damage to that Eclipse right there. Oh my god, she will die. I love the lag right here. Good old Perfect World Servers. 3-for-1 exchange. Down goes Luna. Burning still alive though in the midst of it after it's all said and done. It does have an armlet toggle, and he will pick off Darkseer. Now going for Winter Wyvern. No, gets the port out the last second. Well, didn't really get to see the fight the best, but
That Wyvern was that ulti was horrible, honestly, from that winner Wyvern. They were winning that team fight until they used Cold Embrace. Like, Cold Embrace and Lunar Eclipse were both used at the same time, so Lunar Eclipse did absolutely nothing. They was hitting all on the targets that were invulnerable because of the Cold Embrace, and as a result, Lunar dies to the Lifestealer, and then they go ahead and lose the Darkseer as well. Honestly, if they didn't use Cold Embrace there, IG Vitality would have destroyed that team fight. Instead, it goes even, and they don't even get the Roche either. And now, with Slardar being on the side of IG Invictus Gaming, they're most likely going to be able to perhaps even steal this Roche. It's at half HP. They see the Roche is HP as well with the Vicious Familiars, but they are going to decide against it. Whereas IG Vitality might try and sneak in, perhaps.
Yeah.
They're thinking about it.
Yeah, they're definitely being seen, though, in the area, so I think they kind of realize, yeah, it's going to be maybe too risky, and is it worth going for that risk just to try to finish off this Roshan? So
Yeah.
they do the math, and they say no.
Yeah, that Cold Embrace, though, was, I mean, I don't want to criticize too much, but that Cold Embrace was just, oh, sorry, the Winter's Curse, excuse me, sorry, the ulti from Winter Wyvern was just horrible.
Oh, who did he use it on?
He used it on, I think it was Quap actually, and the reason why it was so bad is that Quap was only getting hit by the Slardar, so he wasn't taking barely any damage, and then obviously it makes everyone else invulnerable to damage, and obviously with the Eclipse, it was too much. But they're going to smoke in, but Vicious Familiars are here, and there's a smoke from Invictus Gaming as well. So there might be a second team fight coming up already.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a team fight. Who's going to get the jump is the question. Super goes in the air, flies away. The Familiar is going to chasing him down somewhat over here, though. Cicada spin. They catch the Slaughter, it looks like, and he is going to fall now. Burning out, of course, of the Infest. They are able to pick off the Juggernaut. There's a Winter's Curse on Quap. This time, not going to be enough, though. At Half-Life, Splinter Blast doing a little bit of damage right there as well. But Sand King actually gets the Burrow Strike on a Quap off to the side, but not enough damage. Follow-up. Quap will not be able to secure the kill, though, on a Sand King. See, In July saved by the Cold Embrace right there. Despite that Sonic Wave activated, In July cannot get away, though, in the end. And it seems like it's working out so far in favor of the Dire side, or maybe not, actually. Paparazzi beam to finish off the Visage and make it a 3 for 2. When it was all said and done. And now Burning's on the run. He might be caught here. Yeah, he's going to be cut off by Super. He's going to say, hey, come at me, bro. With the auto attacks right here. Ray just pops. The Burrow Strike obviously not going to stun him. He's going to survive for the time being. A Slaughter now jumps in, but another beam from the Luna. But this is turn for IG as they get the two supports picked off right there.
Really nice rage there from Burning to sort of dodge the initial Burrow Strike, actually, and then they end up taking both as well. Oh, this game is really falling apart for IG Vitality. They were doing so well in the lane phase, but that just one team fight is really struggling. They're going to lose Roche now as well. So Invictus Gaming, honestly, that one kind of play there is making them come back into it all from the original team fight. So nice play though, from Invictus Gaming.
And the graphs reflect that very well as well. You see it's starting to go back down in favor of Invictus Gaming, but is this going to be a free Roshan? They're coming in. Not in time. Burning gets the Aegis. Do they want to make a play? Absolutely not. Obviously, be a pretty bad time if they do. But yeah, Lifestealer now with the Echo Saber all of a sudden. He's on his way to finishing even a Desolator here. He already has the one Mithril Hammer.
Yeah. And now you're sort of seeing the strength of Slardar, really, and why he's kind of first priority and first sort of peak potential. When he gets that blink, obviously, he has the ability to sort of jump in with the Lifestealer and blow someone up. But more importantly, really, is the ability to sort of take Roche so well, obviously, with the amp damage. And they instantly take it, and there's nothing that IG Vitality could do. I think 1 or 2 were already dead at the time, so there's no way they could really contest. And now, the kind of early advantage they now have is no longer there. Now with Roche being sort of lost, their team fight is even weaker now, because obviously they're fighting against Aegis, so I think they're going to have to sort of try and split, and now wait for this Aegis to go down, because there's no way they kill Lifestealer twice in the next team fight, that's for sure.
Going to be too difficult, perhaps, so we'll see what their decision is. Juggernaut going pretty aggressive, though, here with that set into the Dire jungle. He's maybe going to find Visage. Nope, not even going to do that, as Visage just pulling up the creep on the uphill and continue to farm it out. He will see Juggernaut himself jump over here. Who do they catch? They got somebody. Oh, nice job at the Cold Embrace, though. In July, the one they did catch. Playing that Darkseer, but not enough damage. The Cold Embrace doing a good job. Ending up the ultimate from Quap. The wall put down once again with the illusions to vacuum them in. And down goes Slaughter. The Omniscide's jumping around as well. Burning force half away, though. He will survive for the time being, but the spin very aggressive from Cicada with that Ion Shell doing plenty of damage. He gets Maledict, though, and the cask on top of that. The Death Ward put down, but again, the Cold Embrace comes through as Dogfights in the background with the Epicenter. Baboka somehow still alive throughout all that, channeling that Death Ward, but he finally does fall. Lifestealer's like, I'm not going to risk further, though, and he will stay away, but there we go, a 1-5 for Vitality.
Yeah, I think the Winter Wyvern has definitely redeemed himself after that kind of bad ulti. He did 2 clutch Cold Embraces there to sort of save the Darkseer and then to save the Juggernaut as well. And this pick, honestly, this 5th pick Winter Wyvern is doing so much, though. obviously there's kind of predominantly only physical damage coming out from Invictus Gaming with the Slardar and Lifesteal, and just that one hero can really kind of just screw up their plans. The whole plan from Invictus Gaming coming into the team fights is they jump in with Slardar, Lifesteal, they blow someone up, and then they go and fight the team fight 5 versus 4. But with the Cold Embrace, able to sort of have that kind of save is just coming out such clutch in these team fights.
Yeah, it seems like it's throwing stuff off quite a bit. In fact, I saw Quap in a couple of fights ago, if I'm not mistaken, using that Sonic Wave on a target that actually was in that Cold Embrace, and as we saw, they ended up living even. So, yeah, another case of saving in July once again on that Darkseer, and no doubt deserving so much credit for the success of these fights here for Vitality. Now, a little bit of a slow phase once again, going to kind of reset some things right here, so we'll get updated on. Let's look at some talent trees, actually. I haven't done that just yet. We got Luna with the 4 armor decision over the damage. Juggernaut going the 20 damage himself. 100 cast range on Darkseer. 200 mana just picked up on Sand King, and then nothing on Winter Wyvern yet. But yeah, what's interesting to you?
The 100 cast time on Darkseid, like I think about 90% of Darkseid will go on the evasion, and I think evasion would have been better here as well. Just sort of having that extra kind of ability to sort of survive. Say for example, he does get jumped by the lifesteal. 12 evasion doesn't seem a lot, but in sort of the grand scheme of things, it is quite a lot really. Having one all attack missed, it can be really the difference between living and dying, particularly if he's been amped up, for example. So interesting. I mean, the 100 cast range obviously is good. It gives him obviously better cast time, sort of cast range on the vacuum to land like the 5-man vacuum. But I think perhaps the evasion could have been something he could have thought about.
It does seem like that could have been really strong in this game. I got to agree right there. But yeah, choosing to go the cast range and obviously committed to it. There's no respecs and talents the same World of Warcraft. Pretty much sticking to what you got right here. Imagine that being an item in the future. Anyways, I'm Ice Frog. You know, that's a good idea. But here we go. Possible initiation coming back into the bottom lane. The Infest inside Slaughter. No obvious target though just yet. There are all 5 here, so this would be so risky. I think they felt the pain of that Cold Embrace a couple times here, and it's making them play a little more passive.
Wyvern, I think Wyvern has to be the target. So it's all on Super if he can get good positioning. He's like hiding in the trees at the moment, so really nice positioning. They're trying to bait out with this illusion from Luna, but I think Invictus Gaming are not having any of it. This is interesting though, because they still have Aegis on Lifesteal, yet they're still kind of scared to take the team fight. Which shows kind of the strength of the team fight from Vitality right now.
Yeah, and he also just got his Desolator on top of that, so yeah, really is going to go, oh, that's going to be a dead Visage for sure. Yeah, he's caught farming a little bit in the jungle over here to the secret shop, and that will be the end of him, so good scouting, and that's a nice pick. He doesn't have a buyback, but it's obviously minimal time right here, so shouldn't be that big of a deal.
I think Vitality needs to be careful right now. They're going to be pushing into this tier 2 tower, but Visage is already up in 15 seconds. I don't know if they can kill this tower in time. And although no, it looks like Invictus Gaming are going to just give up that tier 2 and play it safe.
What about the other side talent tree? Speaking of Visage, going to 60 gold per minute. We have Quap, 20 damage and now 12% cooldown reduction as that second talent over GPM right there. Slaughter going to 175 mana. We have Witch Doctor, nothing just yet, and then Lifestealer, 5 stats and 25 damage. Yeah, he was level 1 for the first like 4 minutes of this game, and he's had a struggle, man. He's had a struggle, but...
I don't know about this though. IG Vitality, again, they're pushing high ground. The Aegis, it has expired, but this is still dangerous. Again, it all depends really on this Wyvern. Right now, the team fights are solely on this Wyvern, so Invictus Gaming want to make sure they burst the Wyvern down first, and obviously Vitality need to make sure that Wyvern stays far enough back so you can get a good Cold Embrace and a good Winter's Curse. And now we saw in that original team fight that went so bad for Vitality that the Winter's Curse was kind of just really poor in that respect. I think when you play a Wyvern in this position, you have to do one of 2 things. Either you have to Winter's Curse as the initiation, so you got to use it first, or you have to use it last. If you use it during the team fight when things like Epicenter's coming off, things like Eclipse is going off, things like the Omni Slash from Juggernaut, you're going to actually be saving the enemy team because obviously they're not going to be taking damage from it. So they have to super playing this Wyvern has to be very kind of careful in it, and it's not an easy game to play Wyvern. Like there's so many things he has to worry about. There's so many things that he needs to sort of keep an eye out for example. But at the same time, he really is the difference between them winning and losing these team fights right now. So he has to be playing on par really.
Well, he gets away out of the bottom lane down there, so he'll be fine for now. But yeah, you see Visage here is going to be pushing out this middle lane a little bit with Quap using those familiars to help push it out. And I gotta say, my experience watching Visage, especially post 7.0, and I know he didn't get those nerfs and everything, but Usually he's pretty good at getting levels. I mean, this game he's only level 11. He's kind of one of the lowest in the game at this point, on par with the other supports. Is that an issue, or is that kind of expected?
Well, it's because he went for the gold talent instead of the XP. Really, I think a lot of, depending on who you ask, really, some Vicious players will prefer the XP gain, some will prefer the gold gain. I think it kind of depends. But you have to remember as well, both of these games, or this game here, sorry, both teams are kind of looking to do the same thing. They're looking to try and take an advantage through teamfight. So because of that, both teams have to sort of stay as 5 because of the fact that they might be getting picked off. So they're both sort of going as 5, so XP is kind of only depending on who wins team fights, really. And at the moment, it's been Vitality the last couple, so Visage is kind of under-leveled as a result.
Slaughter has Lifestealer inside him once again. They're going to try to find somebody. Try to find dogfights, but he sandstorms away. He will be fine. In fact, they're running right into a trap. He turns around with a barrel strike. Slaughter, oh, they get the pick onto the Sand King. Paparazzi, though, he's good to go. There's a Witch's Curse on a Lifestealer in the background. Taking some fair damage. They're pulling him with a vacuum on top of the wall. Burning just simply trying to live. It ain't going to happen, though. Omni Slash Hells cut him out. A 3-for-1 exchange. Vitality dominating that fight. That's the bait that they were looking for. And now going to push the top tower here.
And that's simply because Quap and Witch Doctor were not there. I literally was saying how both teams need to be sort of staying as 5 because they can get picked off. And that moment I say it is the time when Invictus Gaming sort of split off and then they get they lose 5 versus 3, obviously, as you expect. And now they're going to most likely be losing racks. Lifesteal doesn't even have a buyback, so that's probably the game right there, honestly.
They're going to
there
lose.
Goes their racks. With Alpha Wolf as well, Luna just kind of cut through your racks. A simple mistake, and sort of, it's not even a mistake, it's just kind of, they lose concentration for 5 to 10 seconds. They're not as 5. They see an opening. They think that, oh, there's only one hero there. Let's just kill the Sand King. And then they go ahead and they just die because there's 4 heroes sitting behind the Sand King. And they go ahead and they lose their ranks.
I gotta say too, it's kind of interesting seeing Luna specifically. The transition of Luna. You know, obviously throughout these last couple of patches, even before 7.0, she was a very popular carry as of late. But it was a different style, right? It was more of the Shadow Demon, the illusion-based. Where now it's more about get the helm of the Dominator, group up with the team, and be a push presence with the team.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, I mean, it was kind of getting to like that before the 7.0 patch. If you watch sort of VP, this is kind of the style they would play with Luna. Before, obviously, Hammer Dominator was used as a kind of a stacking sort of tool, but the carry for VP, Ramses, wouldn't actually go Hammer Dominator, he would go Dragon Lance, and then straight into Manta, and go from there. He wouldn't even get Hammer Dominator because he wants to sort of fight with his team. Now that Hammer Dominator doesn't even sort of give you that lifesteal and that kind of stacking potential, you even want to use it even more because you can use it to sort of team fight. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting sort of see this evolution of Luna as a hero, as we do see a smoke here from Invictus Gaming. They're kind of the last Hail Mary play, and they're going to catch 2 here. 3 stun.
Oh, the triple stun. This is a big chance. They got the Sonic Wave. They get the 1 kill. They get the 2 on the Wind Wyvern and Sand King. They're going for a 3rd on the Darkseer in the background. They also catch Luna. Meanwhile, they do lose Visage, but Luna going to be searched out. Will survive. Angelai puts the wall down, says you're going to have to run through it if you want me. He does get killed. A triple kill for LP. Living up to his name right there, but that god 3-man crush from XXS, that was what set it all up.
And the best thing about it though is that Wyvern was one of those heroes as well that they caught in the stun. Now I mentioned how Wyvern was such an important hero in sort of these team fights, and they was able to kill him. So you got no core embrace off, obviously no Witness Curse either, and because of that they were able to take the team fight. They're able to take Roche now as well, so that potential or that lost Rax top lane really doesn't mean as much as it sort of would be.
Wow, I mean, this game has had such swings, man. It's really gone back and forth, but it's just when you think Vitality is once again pulling away. I mean, they do have the top racks killed still, so obviously that's still to their benefit, but then that fight happens, all due to a smoke, and again, the 3-man crush from Slaughter. Now you got an Aegis on Burning. All of a sudden, it's back to at least IG themselves having hope once again. They're still sticking in it, if anything. At this point,
and one Rax really isn't the biggest thing because they have a hero like Visage and Quap, which both are able to sort of push out lanes quite effectively. Obviously, Visage can do it with his birds when the rest of his team is somewhere else, kind of thing. So they have that kind of resource available to them. So one Rax isn't the biggest thing. I think the Aegis is definitely very, very important because now the next team fight is going to be even easier for Invictus Gaming. But it does look like that Vitality are kind of grouping up to sort of take a team fight. But I don't think that is the play, honestly. I think fighting into Aegis is very risky, particularly pushing high ground. So they're going to sort of just back off and try and farm up as much as they can.
Yeah, still
They
some
need a
resources
BKB.
here.
Sorry, there's going to be a BKB on Luna as well, very close to that. I think that'll be quite important. Because him just getting stunned by either the Slardar or by Vicious Birds or by Witch Doctor is hurting them quite a bit actually. He needs to make sure he's dishing out as much damage as possible, so BKB is definitely needed.
Got to be careful not to get committed into a fight before that, especially. Not only because no BKB, but at this point he would not have a buyback either. So yeah, this could be a really devastating fight if something was to be taken right there. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. However, we could have seen another smoke maybe. No, there's the Infest inside Slaughter, and they're just going to actually push out this middle lane. Not going to find any opportunity. The AC has been finished on Nyx, by the way. Being played by
So
Burning,
calm,
of course.
He's so calm.
Yep, he's not as farmed as Luna, but he is getting farmed himself, yes. Then they have Quap. Look at that. Octarine Core finished now on Quap.
Yeah, this is kind of the regular thing they do now. Obviously, they have the 12% cooldown reduction.
Whoa, middle lane, by the way. What's going on here? Burning's in trouble. Burning's going to fall. The 8 is going to be popped. Not sure what that was about. They were jumping in without everyone there. And now the wall's put up immediately on top of him. The Eclipse going to be popped 4-step away, trying to live through this. Luna going pretty deep, though. She needs to be careful. Sonic Wave on her. She gets 4-step back to her. So it's going to be enough damage. Oh, the Cold Embrace will save her at the last second. Nobody dead throughout this fight. That's going to change, though, very shortly. Super on the run. But in comes the epicenter, and now Burning in trouble. But again, the crush from XSS right there on the Slaughter. Burning using that Infest, and he finally gets the kill on a Darkseer. Luna picked up in the background. Wow, the sustain right there from the Dire side. Some way, somehow, Lifestealer lives, and they make it a 2-0.
Yeah. I think that I didn't see what happened at the start, but I think the biggest reason why that kind of went a little bit bad for Vitality is obviously, first of all, they're fighting against Aegis, and even though Lifesteal sort of committed and sort of lost his Aegis very quickly, it forced Luna to pop a very early BKB. So when you know, the Aegis was respawning and Lifesteal was sort of coming back to life, Luna only had like 1 or 2 seconds left on BKB. The ultimate, the Eclipse, was actually tanked a lot by the Vicious Birds as well, so that Eclipse really didn't do anything in terms of the grand scheme of things. And Luna doesn't have a buyback for 25 seconds, but I don't think in this game they're going to try and push the advantage.
That's actually an interesting point you just made there about the Visage, and I'm not saying they picked that hero for that reason necessarily, but is there the possibility that that was the thought at least? Yeah, with the Omni Slash and the Eclipse?
Like, I mean, you see a lot of teams sort of pick up here like illusion counters. When they see a Luna, they normally pick up illusions, sort of whether it be like a CK or whatever the case may be, like a Terrorblade. Because although obviously the glaives are going to bounce to it, the biggest sort of burst and sort of team fight, even going into the late game, is still going to be the Eclipse. So if you have, you know, heroes or units or summons or whatever the case may be to soak up that Eclipse, then obviously Luna's team fight potential is a lot less weakened, or is a lot more weakened, excuse me.
Again, the game continues to swing, and something else I want to bring up here. Oh, actually, Quap, man, they want to catch her, but are they going to get the chance? They actually are. She went back in. The greed is real. She is able to blink in time, though. No lockdown coming out, and OP will survive for the time being. We are splitting up this fight now. Luna way up here chasing the Visage. OP, meanwhile, just continues to run. She will survive. Here comes a crush. Hits a couple. Out comes Burning, and down goes Juggernaut right off the bat. And now the chase continues. Paparazzi pops the BKB. The Winter's Curse in the background onto Visage. Actually might kill him right here, so pretty good placement. And yes, it will take him out. So an eye for an eye, but really more so a 2 for 1, as they also got Sand King in the meantime. Corrosive Phase applied to Darkseer, but that Surge should allow him to get away, and it's just the Slaughter.
Oh my
He's
god.
Gonna put him on the ledge. Well played.
That was pretty swag, not gonna lie.
That was pretty fun. But how about that? I mean, they jumped Quap, but they didn't have the lockdown.
Yeah, but simply is that this Lincoln's pickup actually from Quap is actually really clever actually, because obviously what happened there is Sand King stunned. Obviously that was blocked by the Lincolns, and then there was a Lucent Beam, but obviously the stun from Lucent Beam is only about 0.8 seconds. Then obviously Quap was able to blink out and get away. I think the play would have been actually to use Winter's Curse onto the Quap, pop her Lincolns, and then you can both stun with the Sand King as well as the Lucent Beam, and that might have been enough to kill her. Because right now, these team fights, as you're seeing, the Witness Curse really isn't doing too much. Like, obviously, it was used in that sort of engagement there, but that was more just sort of to cover the retreat of IG Vitality. Yes, they killed, you know, Visage, but in the grand scheme of things, this Witness Curse really isn't able to give him kind of big sort of advantage or big wins in these team fights, because either it is sort of hurting his own team, or it's not being used at all and they're winning the team fight regardless. So I think that should be almost the spell to be used to sort of take off the Lincolns in that case anyway. But. Yeah. Regardless, though. So
something I want to start talking about now is before that fight broke out, but we're 33 and a half, 34 minutes in. We are getting to a point where some heroes, 21, 22, where we're getting up there. 25 is very possible to start happening. Now, Quap has, I think it's safe to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the more powerful 25 talents.
The best. I think I'd argue it probably as one of the best, honestly. Because when he gets 70% lifesteal, obviously you can join that up with obviously the Octarine core, so he has almost 100% spell lifesteal. You pair that up with Blade Mail as well, which he gets all the damage reflected and then obviously all the damage healed as well. Like, that hero at level 25 has becomes incredibly hot. Like, they are struggling to kill him now, let alone when he gets level 25. I don't think they can kill him. Like, they really can't kill him. We saw in that last engagement where we saw the fight mid, obviously, when Lifesteal lost Aegis. Juggernaut was using Omni Slash, but then Plop can just blink away. Obviously, like, one of the Lincolns gets popped and then he blinks away and takes all the Omni Slashes off. So, yeah, this Quap is going to be almost impossible to kill, I think. I don't think they have the heroes to kill him. Unless, it has to be like a Winter's Curse, maybe, and then he dies to lifesteal, or maybe something like that is probably the only way they kill him. Yeah,
just that complete lockdown, absolutely. But the likelihood of that happening, that God instance, is pretty rare. But hey, you know, we've seen some crazy things this game so far. So it is so weird saying, though, that a team with a Luna with massive farm is on a clock somewhat, it feels like, because of that
honestly,
Quap.
Yeah, because, I mean, Quap isn't level 25 yet, but when he does get that, like, I think Quap is, first of all, he's very elusive because obviously he has the blink, but he's going to be very tanky. Like, he's already quite tanky. He's like got 2.5k HP, and that's not including all the lifesteal like he has to offer, like, coming into it. So he's going to be probably the last person to be killed if his team dies at all in that respect. So.
Yeah. What did Lifestealer get at level 20? He's still in 22 now. He went 15% evasion, so speaking of that, yeah, that makes sense, though. The Luna, the Juggernaut, evasion's going to be good for him to have. How about Luna? She went 25 attack speed at level 20. Juggernaut not there just yet, so again, we're starting to see a couple of those pop out. OP here on the Queen of Pain did go for 200 more life, so just boost up that life a little bit. Definitely going to see an engagement right here. The chase is on. Slaughter does go back in. They pop on out. They get the quick kill on his Sand King. Screaming Pain in the background. Luna, Sonic Wave, excuse me. She'll run away, though. There's the Winter's Curse on a Visage, but it's only Lifestealer. As much damage as he does, not enough by himself right there. So they'll be satisfied with the one kill, and there we go with the retreat mode once again from this Radiant side here. Darkseer, by the way, going the follow-up Shivas. He's had that for a while now. In hindsight, do you think that was the best choice?
Yeah, without a doubt. Like, he needs armor, and they need a way to sort of deal with the kind of high physical presence that this team offers, or the enemy team offers. So yeah, that makes sense. The one problem though, he hasn't got blink yet. So obviously, I mean, we have seen some decent vacuums into wall combinations, but obviously the initiation is going to be lacking without a blink dagger. But Lifestealer, just thinking about it.
Yeah, you got to be careful last year. You got the familiars to scout that out, but yeah, he does have the backup now. So obviously, Roshan going to be a point of interest for both teams once he is back up here, which no doubt is shortly. So XXS getting close to burning right here, as if they maybe want to be setting up an infest shortly. Focus here on some Ancients and continue that farm going. Quap, Queen of Pain, almost 23, and does have 3,700 gold, so she has really another inventory slot here. Is there something that comes to mind for what she should be getting, you think?
Well, I mean, there's a few things she can get. Obviously, she could get a Shivas of her own, would be quite good, because obviously it works quite nicely with the blink, because obviously you have like a massive radius to use it for. You can go Hex as well as an option. Or if they want pure on burst, I mean, Dagon sounds a bit trolly, but it can work quite well when you pair that with the Veil of Discord plus the Octarine core to get kind of it's kind of like a burst heal in that respect. Because obviously when you have like 100% lifesteal, when you Dagon you're going to get like 900 heal, so it works really well in that respect. But depends if they feel like they need lockdown, or they need utility, or they need damage. And I think right now, I think probably maybe the best item they could go is maybe even the Dagon, honestly.
They know this is happening, by the way, the Roshan. The familiar is scouting this out. Here we go. There's the jump once again. They're going for Juggernaut. In comes the cold embrace that we'll save for the time being. The wall is down, and the lag is real once again. Everything going off. The Eclipse going to be used. I'm just looking at the health bars at this point. We'll see who ends up dying. If anyone, nobody's dead yet, in fact. As the chase now for Paparazzi. They're burning in the background, but he's cutting away. He will be fine. They do lose Visage finally, but now burning, going back in. Luna's dropping. Luna, one more auto attack. No, she kites away at the last second. Does go down to the death ward, but at what cost right here for life? So there, the big crush comes out, and burning will survive. No, he will not at the end, but July will go down as well. Oh my God, he gets away initially with the surge, and he is somehow still alive. The Shiva's beautiful. Drop the blink dagger, but the bash first hit. Is this enough for a chase? I don't think it is. Yeah, he'll live. What an intense fight, though, man. Finally, it comes to an end.
That in July play was so clutch, actually. Like that last little bit, like you see what he did? He popped Shivas and then started the right thing to try and dodge the Shivas so he get his blink dagger, and then Darkseer ran back into him to make sure that the Shivas was hit onto the slider, so delays his blink, then gives him enough time to make sure that he's guarding Grooves off court. That's such good play by that Darkseer, actually. Really, really clutch. But no, that team fight though, again, you're seeing the Witness Curse really not offering too much. The biggest thing that happened there, honestly, was that the Juggernaut held his Omni Slash for the longest time. Then when Invictus Gaming all clumped up, the Omni Slash hit onto everyone, did so much damage, but still the Lifestealer was able to survive for that long of a time, and as a result they take down the Juggernaut and the Luna. So it's a little bit in favour of an Invictus Gaming, but I think the next fight is going to be more important, seeing as Roshan is very, very low. But both teams do not want to give it up.
Yeah, it's the case yet again. And obviously Luna's not up, but neither is Lifestealer.
Yeah.
So both teams losing a big target. The Winter's Curse on a Slaughter. That's going to lock them down. The follow-up Burrow strike, then pull him with that vacuum, the wall on top. And this should turn out pretty well for the Radiant side, I'm guessing. Okay, no kills just yet, actually. As the chase in the background, finally Visage is going to be picked off over here. Lifestealer just now resurrecting. Meanwhile, the stun catches a couple over here. Yep, down goes Witch Doctor. And that's a 2-0.
Yeah. Nice play. I mean, with Lifestealer and both Quap dead, it was just the right play from IG Vitality to try and take the Roche by the Juggernaut, and nice catch there by the Witness Curse. Again, starting the team fight with Witness Curse always is a lot better than using the team fight.
Aegis and Cheese onto that Juggernaut. Luna taking some damage from Burning, but Burning realizing that he has to start falling back now. The stun through, Rage pop though will survive. There's the Aegis pop, but the vacuum comes out, pull them in once again. Super descending from a distance, laying an auto attacks himself as that support. Buyback coming out from Lifestealer, dying right there initially. Slaughter could have stayed dead though, but look at Sakata way back in the back on the Cheese will keep him alive, but that Maledict may do him in the end. I believe so, as, maybe not actually. Could survive through this, so could be fine for now. Witch Doctor has to get away with a Forest Staff. And they're going to try to push them out here. Quap jumping in, the Blade Mail is popped. Darkseer the target, but there's another Cold Embrace. This Winter Wyvern doing so much work. In comes Dogfights with the Epicenter. Once again, another big vacuum. And the Curse onto Lifestealer, the follow-up Burrow Strike. Not enough damage, though, to follow it up, actually, as Illusions are in masses. And the lag continues to be so real, but I think, okay, Luna actually did fall right here, and now Dogfights, he's simply trying to live himself. He manages to escape. Are you getting this lag too? This isn't just me, right?
Yeah, I'm lagging a little bit.
Okay. Winter Wyvern picked up.
Yeah, it's Perfect World. It's Perfect World.
All right, well, so I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but 4 heroes die in the end on the side of Vitality, so.
I think you're lagging a little bit more than me because obviously you're streaming it, but yeah, I'm still getting a bit of lag as well. So 25 just hit by a Quap though, but 2 racks already down. It's going to be very hard for them to sort of get back into this game. But I mean, I think honestly, what IG need to do, they need to make sure they're controlling these Roches. Honestly, that one Roche was the reason why they kind of lost that second racks there. They killed the Juggernaut and then they almost killed him again, and then they used the Cheese. And so these last couple of team fights have really been kind of dictated by the Roche as it normally does, honestly. But they're going to try to push out their lanes right now, perhaps try and force a buyback, but I don't think they're going to be pushing fast enough for an IG Vitality to force a buyback. But we'll see.
We are seeing level 25s come out. Actually, both on the Dire side. Lifestealer has his. 1 more second on that Rage now as a result. And then you have Quap actually, of course, getting the 70% lifesteal to top it off. So they are down 2 sets of racks, and the third one being exposed right here. But again, those are going to be big talents, specifically that Queen of Pain, that are going to give them at least a little bit of hope here. If they win a fight, I mean, who knows what can happen, right? So that's going to be the game plan right here as they're pushing out the top lane. Still got that secondary tower to take care of.
Yeah, they need to be careful though, because Luna's pushing in bot and there's racks exposed. So yeah, they're going to be back. So nice play from Luna, and unless he gets caught here. Oh dear, this is bad.
By herself right now, you're right, but you know, they don't know that though.
Yeah, no one's showing a map, but yeah.
It's hard to tell.
They're scared.
Not going to risk it. It's going to come down to one more fight here.
Yeah, Eclipse is up in 7 seconds, so I think Vitality want to try and push this if they can.
Bob just farming it out. Does have a Maelstrom right here to help push out the creep wave, of course, at this point in the game. But so that was their next item choice as we see here. Of course, buyback situation as well. Something that's going to be pretty critical here. Lifestealer not having it. Definitely crucial. In fact, Slaughter also doesn't have buyback due to gold, and then Quap does, though. That is the big target right now. Does in case, so. Gonna regroup. I have Scotty, of course, on Luna. I believe she had that last fight as well. And she's actually looking to finish this as Satanic here. Their next item, by the way.
She'll sell the Dragon Lance and then buy Satanic.
She's gonna keep the Reaver in her backpack right now. I kind of wonder about that. You know, obviously the Dragon Lance does get that attack range and stuff, but as far as survivability goes.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Lance still gives 12 strength though. Like, you're trading 12 strength for 14 agility as well as the 140 attack range. So I think Dragon Lance is better right now. One thing I'd actually like to see him do actually is swap out his travels for the Reaver, without a doubt, because there's no need to have travels when you're pushing into the base anyway. So
good point, yeah.
He needs to do that, but other than that, yeah, it's fun.
Obviously, Lifestealer sitting very patiently inside Slaughter right here. Slaughter with that BKB. And they just have to play the patience game now. IG Vitality, on the other hand, I mean, they could just continue to kind of knock on the door and then maybe wait for yet another Roshan, if anything. But, oh, we see a smoke here. So this is it. They're going to wrap around. Who can they jump? Winter Wyvern, of course, a key target as it continues to be. They're going to find it, it looks like. Oh, Slaughter's he going in. He's charging in. He's going to finally blink and get his darks here, but the Cold Embrace applied immediately. Oh, the screen misses completely from OP right there. The Sonic Wave, that is. Lifestealer also is caught with that Winter's Curse. In comes Dogfights with a Pearl Strike stun. Catches a couple. Meanwhile, back here, you got the lot of lack once again, but okay, Lifestealer's going to survive. This is the only one killed throughout that as Lifestealer hops back in that Slaughter. But not as pretty of initiation as they hoped for.
Yeah. Oh, Witch Doctor.
Force Staff, Glimmer Cape. He's good. Oh, in the background, Slaughter jumps in. There's the pick on a Winter Wyvern. That's what they needed right there. Now Quap, is he going to follow up on somebody else? No, he's actually going to run back into the base, trying to prevent their racks from dying. In comes the invulnerability. There we go, the BKB popped by Luna, though. She's just pounding into the racks, wants the Mega Creeps, and they're going to get the Mega Creeps. No, the range track hit's finally going down right there. That should be GG. They get the kill again on Visage. Obviously, no buyback on Lifestealer. And there we go, it's official. So, GG, well played in favor of IG Vitality.
It was nice play from Invictus Gaming though, to try and sort of find the Winter Wyvern and sort of with the smoke play, but it was not enough. Luna did the right thing and just sort of started hitting the racks, and then Mega Creeps were down. So yeah, IG Vitality win. To be fair, it wasn't a surprise. I thought IG Vitality were going to go ahead and win this game, and I think they're still going to win the series. I think their draft was better, but I think it all goes back to that initial kind of bad team fight in the first sort of 10 to 15 minutes when they were sort of contesting Roche from that bad Winter's Curse play. But yeah, overall good play from both teams actually, honestly, and it was nice to sort of see some good Dota.
Yeah, there was definitely some good points from both sides, agree there, but IG Vitality, most certainly the lineup definitely helped carry them that much stronger when it came to team fights. It really was overall a good team fighting team throughout the whole game, and, you know, super on that Winter Wyvern. You know, if we were to give out an MVP award, I think he'd be at least a good candidate for that.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
that game one. Had a lot of good Cold Embraces, some decent Winter's Curses that controlled those fights, really, and kind of stalled Invictus Gaming when it came to initiation. So, all right, game number one in the books right there, ladies and gentlemen. IG Vitality takes it. Now going to try to sweep this series. Well, IG is, of course, going to try to force a third and final game. A trip to the LAN is on the line in the later part of February, that $300,000 tournament. One of these two teams